Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at Aussizz Migration in Collins Street. Pehlan te sara no Diwali diyan bahut bahut mubaraka. My name is Amritpal Kaur. I'm a registered migration agent. My number is 18-01652. That's my MARA number, registration number. You have to always check if the person is registered before seeking any sort of advice. I have got here with my colleague, Saurabh.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Saurabh Summer. I'm a migration agent with Aussizz Group here at Collins Street, Melbourne. And first of all, I would like to wish you all a very happy and safe Diwali. And my MARA number is 1802044.
Perfect. So we're doing this Diwali special today, basically talking about the refusals.
Yeah.
Saurabh, you've received a lot of people coming in and saying our visas refused these days. Yeah, we're getting a lot of those people from outside.
Certainly. So I've seen there's been a little influx in a lot of people coming in where they have made some mistakes on their visa applications, and because of that they have got a visa refusal. So we will be covering a little bit about visa refusals, and then we'll give you a little information about how AAT works and how it actually started. And then maybe next week onwards we might be able to do another video on visa cancellations.
Yeah, so we see a lot of people actually getting worried or concerned if they've lodged it correctly, the application, if they've put in everything in place. Is it going to be granted or refused? So we'll talk about all of this just to put our information out there, because we want you to know most of the things that you can possibly know, so you can make the right decisions in your visa life.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah,
exactly. And any information that we're providing is only for your education purpose only. And if you do wish to seek professional advice, I would say you should seek it professionally in an office environment or in a phone environment. So this is just for an education purpose only, so just so that people can have a little gist of what is it about, where they are making mistakes, and what they can do to avoid those mistakes.
That's right. And I would like to put in here that always check if the person that you're seeking advice is registered or not.
Certainly.
You can go on MARA's website, it's MARA,
yeah.
And then you can see that the person that you're seeking advice is that person registered or not.
Yeah, certainly.
Alright, so we would like to go straight into the refusals, because I understand it's weekend and you'll all have to go back to your cooking and your party. Maybe there's a lot of Diwali parties going on. So we will not take much of your time, probably like another 20-25 minutes. Yeah.
Certainly. So let's dig in, and so let's start with the visitor visa. And we have seen a lot of, so not a lot, but there are some applications that get refused from offshore just because of not meeting some aspects of a visitor visa. So would you like to shed some light on one of those?
Yeah, so I always say that there's 3 different things on visitor visa that you would like to really emphasize on and provide evidences to the case officer so that you can have it in your favor. So the first thing that I would like to put in is genuine temporary entrant. So that in our just normal language means that you will return back. So you're only coming as a visitor.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what would you like to put in terms of this one?
Yeah, so what that means is, in simple words, that you are a genuine visitor and you are only visiting on a temporary basis, and you will go back to your home country. So in that, GD is like a big umbrella, and under that there's what's that called, a family ties that you have to prove that yes, you have substantial family members back in your home country. Plus, you also have to mention about substantial financial ties as well, that you would have enough, you have a good salary job, you're getting, and you got properties as well, you got good assets as well.
That's right. Yeah, so just to add further on to that is basically looking forward, as in that you are genuinely here on temporary visit, that you will return back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you will have something to return back to, like a job, a family, kids, school, college, stuff like this, right?
Exactly. So make sure the documents and everything that you are getting they all are genuine documents. None of them are forged or bogus. That's a very important aspect as well, because the department can actually make inquiries in regards to your documents as well. And if it turned out to be that you were never employed, where you got the employment reference letter, that's not going to go in your favor at all.
That's right. And then, like we discussed this as well the other day, that, I see a lot of, objection certificates with 3 months stay or
Yeah.
3 months
Mm-hmm.
leave approved, which is like a little bit of dodgy thing for me.
Yeah,
Because usually nobody's going to grant that much of leave, yeah?
exactly. Like if an employer can grant you a 3 months leave, that means that the employer doesn't actually need you anymore if they can survive for over 3 months period.
Yeah. Basically, anything with like a week, 2 weeks, a maximum 3 weeks would be
Yeah.
ideal in that situation.
Yeah, certainly.
Because anything above that is not going to go in your favor.
Oh, absolutely. And also another important thing is your past travel as well. So you have to make sure that you actually did have some travel history.
That's right.
So
Yeah, and I would like to add in, basically, if you think of like a normal visitor, he needs to know what is he coming into Australia for.
yes.
So you can't just say, I want to go there and, spend my weekend there or New Year there. I'll go to Sydney Bridge, I'll go there. But that's just not enough. You'll have to make sure that you've done enough research
Yeah.
before coming in and have those bookings and those evidences in places, right?
Absolutely. Like, so you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're coming for 20 days, you're not going to be just staying at home for 20 days as a visitor, as a tourist. Because if you're applying in a tourist team, you would have to explain them that as a tourist, I will be visiting Skydeck, Eureka Skydeck on Monday. On Tuesday, I will be at the Great Ocean Road. On Wednesday, I will be visiting these places, because you're a tourist, so you would have to provide some information about that as well.
Yeah, and if you're visiting family, so make sure there's something in the family, like an event, like a Diwali festival or Mela, or there's a newborn that you want to meet for the first time. They're having housewarming parties or something that literally gives you a reason to come to visit.
Exactly, something like a big milestone in your life, life event or something, because that actually provides a little incentive for the person to come here as well as to go back as well, because they only be here to attend that event, and then you take the responsibilities as that they will go back.
That's right, and we've seen recently as well when people try to come back, usually there's 1 year visas and then 3 months entries, and usually when people come back, they ask them sometimes, you came here for a birthday, but that's already over. Why do you want to come back again?
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, you should have always a reason to visit.
Yeah, certainly. So that's totally true. That's 100% true. Like, if you are here and you don't have any motive to be here, then the questions are asked and raised as well.
That's right. Yeah. So the whole thing of it is, to be a genuine visitor, you need to have ties to return back to your home country. You need to have a reason to be in Australia for a certain time period. Don't make it like, I want to be here for 4 months, 3 months.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
So be concise, be genuine, and yes, that's where it will take you where you want to be.
Yeah, and then the third step that I would like to add in is the financials. Make sure that you have enough financials for your travel and your stay here, because you can easily talk to us about anything or everything, and we understand your situation because you're talking to us, but we can't really talk to the case officer.
Case officer.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why we say it's a two-way road with the customers,
That's
like with
right.
the clients, because we can ask you to provide more information as much until the visa application has been submitted. But with the case officer, once it's been submitted, it's up to them, and it's only a one-way road, and it will come in the same road as well.
Yeah, and then they will only judge you based on the documents, the evidences.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so these are a few things that will probably get your visas granted or refused. So make sure if you have any application pending, or you consult one of our migration agents, you can come see us in Melbourne Collins Street office as well. We're happy to help you with that.
Yeah, certainly. So let's move on to the next visa that we have, is the student visa. And so let's talk about the most common reasons currently that we have been facing the students with. So we have a lot of students have actually came to us with, these are the most important and most common visa refusals that we have seen recently. And would you like to share one of those?
Yeah, so I would like to say student visa is one of my favorite because it gets granted easily when you're on shore. It doesn't mean that that you're just studying nothing and you don't know anything about it. It getting granted, but just comparatively, offshore visas are little tricky to crack. Onshores are still better because you're here, you'll have review rights onshore. You can apply MRT, AAT if you have any refusals. While you're offshore and applying for this visa, you will not get any review rights. So let's just talk about offshore first. What are the things that will what are the reasons, possible reasons that could possibly come into refusal? That would basically be genuine temporary entrance statement, like you said, and not having enough financial ties back home, not able to know where you're going.
Exactly, and
yeah,
and also not having enough information about what you will be doing once you get there.
Yeah.
So not just having information about the name of the university itself or the name of your course. You should also know how many campuses that university have, which campus you are actually going to, what your university is famous for, and like basic information about your university, that if someone can actually ask you a question anytime, you would be able to answer without actually telling them, all right, let me get back to you on that.
Yes. Sorry, just basic research.
Exactly, yeah. So just a basic research, and also have some information about what are you planning to study and how it actually aligns with your future career goals. So that's how you have to write your statement as well, like that I want to study Master of Professional Accounting because I want to work as an accountant in my dad's business back in my home country. So you need to choose a course that you think will align to your career goals and your life goals as well, and also you need to think of and study that research that course as well, like so you would know what information you actually need in order to write that proper statement of purpose or genuine temporary statement for the visa.
Sorry, excuse my voice, a little dry here. So like you said, basically you know what you're coming here for, you know what you're studying, you know your subjects, you know is it related to your previous studies, you know how much it's going to cost, you know what time lunch will be served.
Exactly.
Yes, just normal stuff like this.
Exactly. So just have a little bit of information about what are you planning to study and which state would you be studying in and how's the weather like and what's that state known for, what are the most important historic places in that state. So these are sometimes, when the case officers, they do actually can call you and they can ask you those questions randomly out of nowhere. And you should be able to answer those questions confidently. And if you can answer those questions confidently, there is no way that you can actually get a refusal.
That's right. So just make sure you know everything. And then obviously we were discussing offline that recently there's been changes in level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, for India, Pakistan and Nepal. That just does not mean that you will get a refused or we're at risk. It just means that we need to now show financials as well as English score.
Exactly, because regardless of whether you're going to a level 1 university or a level 2 institute or a level 3, you're going to have to provide that information if you're coming from India, Pakistan and Nepal.
Yeah. And then just lately we have some financial changes, as in it has been increased but not that much, just around $1,000. So it doesn't make much difference.
Yeah, so previously it was $20,290 for 1 year as a living expense. Now it has been changed to
$21,041.
Yeah, so
not that much.
Not that significant increase though.
Yeah, so like basic thing for the student visa is genuine student. You want to study here, right? So we've covered that part. Are we missing anything on the student visa?
Oh, I think another thing for the student visa is because student visa is quite similar to the visitor visa as well.
That's right.
But you just have to make sure that you have a proper GT requirement that you have met, similar to the visitor visa as well.
Yeah, and then obviously ties back home, saying if you're here on a visitor visa and then you've changed, circumstances can change, choices can change.
Exactly.
That's normal human nature. And then you come here and you say like, oh, hospitality industry here, textile here is really powerful, really good. I would have learned that.
Yeah, certainly. So that can be that's totally acceptable as well, because change is inevitable, and circumstances do change. And someone who come here on a visitor visa, and sometimes they want to learn those skills when they they stay in a hotel or in a restaurant, in a hotel, and they have a meal at a restaurant, and then they like the customer service there, and they want to learn those skills and bring those skills back to their home country as well. So those are the very important aspects as well.
That's good. And you know, as a human, you can never stop learning.
Exactly.
So the good thing about Australia here is there's no age for learning.
Yeah, exactly.
We've already seen a lot of people with 8, 9, 10 years of gap.
Exactly.
And still getting visas approved.
Yeah, certainly. So as long as you are a genuine person and you honestly wants to study and gain those extra skills, yeah, sky is the limit.
Australia is on the list.
Yeah.
So you can definitely come here and study.
Certainly.
Did we miss anything else now?
No, pretty much. I think
Pretty
we
much
covered it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go for the next one?
Yeah.
Temporary graduate.
So let's go to the next one, which is a temporary graduate 485 visa. As we can see that, because a lot of students are actually currently finishing or almost in the way of finishing their bachelor's or master's or even trade courses, and then they are willing to go for a 485 pathway. So recently, a lot of people have actually come to us where they have actually made some mistakes in the visa application. So
DIY.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they did the application themselves, where they actually chose the wrong stream, and then because they were not sure whether they actually should go for graduate stream or should go for post-study work visa stream.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So basically, for TR for 485, you have to be really, really careful, because if you got this one refused onshore, basically you can never apply it back onshore, right? Because it's an onshore visa, and you're Section 48 BAD, which means that you will only be allowed to apply for certain visas.
Exactly.
And
so,
TR is not one of them.
Certainly. So you have to be very careful in what you do, because as long as your current visa is actually still active, you still get some options. So don't wait until it's too late. And another thing, like, when you're applying for a temporary graduate visa, what's the most common refusal that we have seen is when people, they do apply for the visa, and then because their completion letter date is actually past the date of application.
So after they've applied.
After they have applied. So they will apply with
that I've finished, I've done my
part, my exam's done. That's it.
That's
I passed my exam. So that exam result is not actually your completion letter.
No. Now you have to base it on the completion letter, not graduation ceremony as well.
Exactly, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, so you only have 6 months from the date of your completion to apply for this visa. After that, you've lost your chance to apply for TR.
Yeah, certainly. And you can only apply for 485 as a primary applicant once. You can only hold that visa once in your lifetime.
Once in your lifetime as a primary applicant.
As a primary applicant.
That's correct, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and also another thing what I would like to bring to your attention as well, like where a lot of people, like, when they do actually apply and then they don't provide the evidence of police clearance.
That's right.
Or they do provide, they chose the wrong police clearance.
Yeah, so it's all the criteria for TR is at the time of the application, not the decision. Yeah. Now, what that means is when you apply, you need to attach everything at that time.
At that time, yeah, you need to. If you haven't got the federal police check, at least you can provide the evidence that you have actually got a receipt that you have applied for it and you have applied for the correct one.
And and the same goes with English score. You can use up to 3 years old one, so that's fine. But you need to actually have that test.
Exactly.
You can't just go be like, okay, I'll apply for this, and maybe I'll schedule my test next week, or then you will apply.
Yeah, because a lot of times, people sometimes when the students their study is finishing and then the visa is finishing on the same time, maybe they have to
they miss it.
They missed some kind, and then they missed applying for this visa somehow.
So it's okay if you have the receipt of the AFP, as long as it's correct. It's okay if you have the receipt of the PD or IELTS score. I mean, not score as in test, but that means that you have to attend or get the scores desired on that exact test.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you've lost your chance.
You lost your chance.
The same with health insurance. You need to make sure that you've got the correct one.
Yeah, correct health insurance as well. So the student healthcare won't do it for you.
Yeah, and then the last thing that we want to put forward is because there's 2 types of TR.
Yeah.
So if you have a bachelor's or master's or higher level course, you'll get 2 to 3 years to up to 4 years of
Yeah.
visa.
PhD students, they normally get 4 years.
Yeah.
And the masters by research can get up to 3 years.
Up to 3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And bachelor's at normal, masters by coursework is up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, so in that stream, you don't have to get a skilled assessment.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose any occupation.
Yeah.
You just apply. Now, that means it could be, you could be studying something which is not on any list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, on the other side, with the graduate stream, you would have to be studying a trade course.
That's right. So
Oh.
anything which is on the list,
Yeah.
MLTSSL, plus they have skills assessment.
Certainly. And yeah, you would have to, exactly get a point skill assessment, and then, that's how you get the first skill assessment for the 485 visa.
The provisional one, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, there's only one instance where you are not able to apply for the 2-year visa.
Yeah.
Is if you have, if you've done bachelor's here, you'll be like, okay, why can't I apply for the 2-year one? That's only because if you have your first student visa granted before November 2011, then you can only go for the skill assessment pathway.
Yeah, then that's the only option there for you to do it.
Yeah, and that's 18-month visa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that's enough for this one.
That's pretty much, we covered a bit of information about the temporary graduate visa. So I think let's move on to our next visa, which is a partner visa.
Very popular.
Yes, it is. It's getting really popular. So we'll be discussing about partner visa, onshore or offshore, because pretty much the criteria is quite similar in both circumstances. It's just the bridging visas, and both of them get review rights as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
with partner visa, the only thing that you have to worry about is your partner.
that's it.
You have to maintain a healthy relationship with your partner, because the only criteria basically is you're genuinely together.
Certainly. So most important is what the department looks at is the partner visa, the 4 pillars of the partner visa. Like the social aspects, your financial aspects, your mutual commitment to each other, and your future goals, like what are your future, where do you see yourself in the future as a couple. So just providing them with a marriage certificate or a registration certificate
Is not enough.
is not gonna get you to the grant stage. It can get you to the application stage. Yeah, you
That's
can apply
right.
for it, but there is no guarantee you will get the visa.
Yeah, so you need to make sure you have enough evidences of you two living together.
Yeah.
Probably from that stage, if you were not married or if you've not been in de facto relationship. So from that stage onwards, start living together. Collect evidences of you being family and friends. Have photographs together with family and friends. Have more witnesses who can write sworn declaration that they know you.
Yeah, certainly. Even like the invitations to weddings, keep them on site. Even if you buy furniture or anything, have both of your name on the receipts as well. That actually works out as like that society accepts you as a couple.
Yeah, and then if you received any invitation for any Diwali party
Yeah.
or any card party, make
That's
sure you
your
save
evidence.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you save it, and then collect a lot of photographs.
Yeah, that actually works out really well as well. That covers your social aspect.
Yeah, and then the main thing about this is this has to be a social relationship, not private. You can't just say we're boyfriend, girlfriend, and we've registered, but we don't want to share.
Yeah,
to anyone.
exactly. So, because if you can't be too open with your relationship with the society, then how can the department can trust you with that?
That's right. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely right. Now, so obviously, like you've discussed about social, so you have to make sure you have enough evidences in that stream. Have joint bank accounts.
Yeah, in terms of financials as well, because if you are in a joint responsibility of a kid, you can actually provide evidence that you're paying for the child care.
That's right.
And
Now,
sorry, you can go.
I was just gonna add it. The most critical thing to get, usually people get refused was because they don't know each other that much, or if there's domestic violence and anything that in place. So just putting in forward in terms of a child, if there's a child in the family and there's domestic violence, Australia takes it really, really seriously.
Yeah, certainly. So family violence provisions are already embedded in the Migration Act as well. So there is a special team in the partner visa section that actually looks after all these cases as well. So if you are suffering family violence, so don't just stay in that,
Make sure you speak up.
Exactly. So don't just stay in that relationship, in the violent relationship. you can speak up, you can talk to someone whom you're more comfortable with, and you can raise it up as well. There's a helpline available on the department website as well if you do need assistance as well.
Yeah, and recently we found out that most of the cases are basically from Indians. That's very painful information for us.
Yeah.
So make sure you respect and care for your partner, because that's what is going to get you a visa as well at the end of the day.
Exactly, and yeah, certainly. So for the long-time benefits of your relationship, that's more important as well. And also, if you do have a child of the relationship, you need to look for the child's welfare arrangements as well.
Yeah. So in terms of collecting more evidence, you can always put each other as a beneficiary in the super.
Yeah, get yourself as a beneficiary for your superannuation. And also another thing is, another good example is, have yourself as an emergency contact for your employment.
Yeah.
And
really
put that a copy of that as an evidence. That means that you are the next of kin for that person.
That's right. So there's a lot of little tiny little things that we will help you in establishing the evidences in terms of your partner visa. Make sure you come see us in the office, and we're here to help you.
Yeah, there's a lot of lists. The list is not inclusive; it's exhaustive. There's a lot of information that you can actually provide to speed up the process and to get to the grant stage.
That's right. Do you want to? Did you miss anything, or you want to go for the next one?
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, perfect. Let's go to the employer-sponsored stream now. This is the main stream which is very popular as well these days. Especially, not a lot of people are getting invitations.
Exactly.
A lot of people are inclining more towards their sponsor employers to nominate them for permanent, temporary to permanent state. What do you want to add on to this?
Yeah, because it's been a little too hard for everyone to actually get the points and get the score.
Yeah.
Plus get to the accreditation in their native language as well. It's not an easy task as well. So a lot of people who are already working within their own skilled employment with their employers, and the employers are willing to, if their employers are happy to sponsor you as well. So you can actually go with this path where you can get the employer to sponsor you based on your work experience and based on your skill assessment as well.
Yeah. So just basically with employer sponsored, the only thing that would probably land into refusal is the financials of the sponsor.
Certainly.
Do they have enough money in their business
you
to support you, to pay you for the next year or 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that terms, accountant letter is really helpful. You need to be friends with the accountant. Especially if we're talking about getting it granted, you need to make sure that you're in a healthy relationship with your employer.
Yeah, because that's very important as well. Like if your employer is planning to pay you $55,000 a year, and his revenue is not actually equivalent to twice or 4 times of that.
That's right.
In 1 year, how is he about to support that employee in his business for the next 4 years? Because the visa for MLT SSL, you might be getting the visa for the next 4 years.
Yeah, for temporary next 4 years,
exactly.
And then again with the permanent at least 2 years.
Yeah. So those are the most important aspects as well. And also that make sure that there is no discrimination in the workplace.
That's right.
That if the employer has an Australian citizen working for them or a permanent resident, then they should be paying you as well as them at the same price, same rate. Or if they are on a different level, if they have more experience, then the price would actually meet the market rate.
Yeah. So make sure any contract that we're putting forward in terms of getting the visa is market rate, like you said, equivalent to any Australian citizen who is getting paid the same.
Yeah.
There's no discrimination. They can't literally torture you or pay you less amount because they're sponsoring you. That's not going to work out. That's why the Department of Home Affairs have set that limit.
Yeah, certainly. And also that's the most important reason where they actually do accept very extensive and detailed labor market testing reports. So that's what we normally do a lot of times. That's where we actually spend a lot of time as a migration agency in actually, outlining all the aspects. So
of why person,
exactly, and why they should get a visa grant.
Yeah, so basically Department of Home Affairs literally look at why can you not hire an Australian citizen, a permanent or eligible New Zealand citizen? Why do you have to go forward to nominate an overseas citizen?
Yeah.
That's where labor market testing plays a very important role. We need to make sure that there's enough evidences in place, that the employer has done enough efforts and they could not find any other person with the same skills as this person.
Yeah, and also, if that you have done enough research as well, that employer has done enough research in his area, in his field, spoken to a lot of people about like if there's a scarcity of those skills in that area if they're living in a regional area.
That's right. So make sure if you're working in your nominated occupation, it goes same with the accountant as well. Make sure you are very good friends with your employer, so they could possibly not get another person as skilled as you, and they could think of nominating you for permanent as well.
And recently we have seen like a lot of employers have actually
approached us, literally.
Exactly, just because they want to keep that person for a longer period of time. And they weren't willing to do anything possible for that person to stay here for the business. Yeah,
like I literally get a lot from employers saying, Indians are really hard workers.
Mm-hmm.
We are not to discriminate to anyone else, but this is what I get. Like we're really hard workers as compared to any Australian person that they could be getting. So that's why it has been an increased demand of these type of visas.
Exactly, and in terms of general skill migration, these visas are actually being granted really quickly and being processed like in weeks to months.
That's
rather than GSM, which takes nowadays taking in a year almost.
And then you don't even have any guarantee if you'll have an invitation or not.
Exactly.
So you apply for this visa and you'll get a bridging visa straight away.
Exactly.
And you can wait for your decision and continue to work full time with that person.
For the same employer.
For the same employer. And have your house running.
Exactly. So I think that's pretty much, we covered a lot about all these visas as well today. About all those total of how many types of visas we discussed? Almost 6 different. 5-6 different visas. And now I just want to give a little bit of information about tribunal. Like once you do get a refusal, what do you do next? Yeah. So based on the refusal letter, don't just get a refusal. Don't just sit and wait for something to happen, because once you receive a refusal, there is a strict time frame that you have to follow.
That's right.
So based on your circumstances, the type of visa you have applied, you would get time frame from 21 days to up to 35 days. So that actually vary based on different visa types as well. And always check the decision letter and the notification of decision. It will tell you the time as well.
That's right. So make sure once you receive the refusal, make sure you speak to a migration agent to know your options.
Yeah.
That would probably, once you apply for that AAT, you'll still be in the same visa. If you're in bridging visa A, you'll still be on the bridging visa A. So you can still continue to work with the same employer, depending on the conditions of the visa, and then possibly get it granted. Yeah,
certainly. So if you provided every information correctly, and there's no adverse information against the employer or anything, and you can say that the reason that was refused was not a legitimate reason.
That's right.
And if it was based just on the discretion of the case officer, those ones can be remitted back to the department as well by the AAT.
Yeah, and AAT is very informal. They're very helpful. We've been there many times with our clients if we have to. So we can lodge the application for you. We can go to hearing with you, accompany you. We can prepare you for the interview, what are the questions they might be asking. Yeah. So it's like a human conversation, like me and Saurabh talking to you here.
Certainly. So and also with so let's talk about what AAT actually is.
Yeah.
So it's actually called Administrative Appeals Tribunal, and because AAT themselves have their own act as well. So that actually bill was passed in 1975. They call it Administrative Appeals Tribunal Act, and after that, that's how they brought AAT in existence, and not just migration decisions. AAT actually look after all the administrative decisions. That means all the decisions that's been made by all the federal government and some of the state governments as well, but not too many.
That's right.
So any department like Department of Home Affairs, Human Services, or any of those decisions. And another thing that I would like to like if you have a hearing coming soon, and if you want to see what is it like to be in the hearing, you are most welcome to go and attend a hearing.
That's right. It's public.
It's public.
Yes. You can just walk in there. Choose any room, you'll walk in there, you should see a screen.
Yeah.
It shows what visa is being heard.
Exactly.
A lot of student visas recently there. So you can just go and sit there and know what it's like,
Yeah.
unless the member is asking you. That's a private hearing,
Yeah.
which would possibly be if it's for protection visa.
Yeah, and then protection visa or child support
Anything-
services
anything
or
related to child.
Centrelink services as well. They
That's
do.
right. So you can just go and you can see it's very casual.
Yeah.
They're very friendly. They'll
Yeah.
probably help you. They'll just ask you. They'll prompt you to give them answers that will go in your favor.
Yeah, and in 50% of those cases as well with the tribunals, and if you provide like them a perfect legal submission along with
That's
all
right.
the evidences, you might not even have to go to the hearing stage.
That's right.
The member can decide even prior to that as well.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of cases where the Department of AAT has probably come back to us and said, that was a brilliant submission. Thank
Yeah.
you. I didn't have to do much. I could understand the client's situation
Yeah.
while not even seeing the client.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then they remit the decision straight away.
Yeah. So they will probably ask you, can we take a decision without hearing? And you say yes, that means it's a positive decision usually.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, so they're very informal. We can certainly help you with that. You don't have to worry too much. Like we were talking offline as well. So I got this privilege when I was studying in Victoria Uni about the law. I met this person who was our lecturer. He was actually the first one who actually set it up, the whole MRT at that time.
Oh, okay.
So got to learn a lot about that, basically. What was the purpose? How was it decided and everything? So they look at the law, but they also look at the personal circumstances.
Personal circumstances. That's why they call it merit review as well. They provide everyone their own merits.
Yeah,
And,
base you on your merits, yeah.
Exactly. And those members and those senior members who are actually presiding over the hearing are actually professionals who have worked in their own industry for more than 20-30 years. And they've been like elected by the Governor General. So that's actually a really good position that they are currently on. Some of them been working for the Department of Home Affairs for almost 20-30 years. And then they got appointed to work as a member for the AAT.
That's perfect. So they know perfectly what needs to be done.
Exactly.
I would suggest everyone not to be scared or afraid of the AATs. They're very nice people out there.
Yeah.
They would like to help you as much as you can. If you have, like Saurabh suggested, if you have a hearing coming up in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, just pop in there. You can Google their address in Melbourne. Just go in. They're very helpful. You can just sit down in a public conference and be there for the whole hearing.
Certainly, and you can actually have a look and then see how it's like, because walking to the courts and tribunals is actually a little frightening experience for almost every
That's
person.
right. That's right.
So
if when I was a student, I used to be scared of this all I was like, what's happening? And then I never got into it. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to go court. Like, what we normally have, I've never seen. I'm a very good person because I've never seen a police station. I've never seen a courtroom or something like that. So it's just inbuilt in our culture. But it's nothing like...
Yeah, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually quite straightforward. And so if you're correct, if you're right in what you have done, and if everything is correct, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, so like we discussed all the refusal reasons, I would like to add in that now you would have some possible answers to why the visa was refused or what could be the reasons that it could be refused. So make sure you take that precaution and use that. And then if you don't think you have enough evidences in your visa application, make sure you speak to us or make sure you add that in your visa application before it's processed. And we're always here to help you out. We wanted to do this little Diwali special, but we don't want to scare you or anything. We just want you to be prepared and want you to know, because we don't expect you to know all this. This is all pure legal law, which took us years to practice and got to this stage. Since Aussizz has been here for 10 years, so we've got a lot of practice in terms of that. We've got a lot of case studies which we keep discussing.
Certainly.
Yeah, and then we're like 6 migration agents here, and we keep discussing if we get a critical case. So you're most welcome to come and speak to any one of us. We're in Collins Street.
So no matter how hard your situation is and how hard you think your situation is or how complex it is, we should
have the answers.
Certainly.
Yeah. So lastly, I would like to put in, because we officially decided earlier that we would discuss the refusals as well as the cancellations, because recently we're getting a lot of student cancellations coming to us.
Yeah,
where they're not, they're breaching their visa conditions.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So those NOICC letters, a lot of students, if you are listening, watching us, you were already aware of that those letters are actually not a good letters to receive from the department.
Yeah.
It could be the reason because you might have breached one of the student visa conditions you might not even aware of.
Yeah, because, sorry, I do get clients where it's like, I didn't know that I could not do this. I was like, you should be aware of, but a lot of people, when we come from overseas, we're just so excited, everything, we don't read the conditions on a visa. And a lot of those conditions you're not even aware of, literally. So if you're not sure what you're doing, and if whatever you're doing is wrong, you just speak to one of us, registered migrations. We can certainly help you out.
Yeah.
Most of the common, I would like to add, and what is the most common notice of intention to consider cancellation notices from the department you've seen recently?
The most popular one and the most common one is actually when the students, they come here and then they downgrade their course.
That's right.
That's the one. That's the most common one, and the department is actually after those. They're trying to be really compliant. So you need to be very compliant with the conditions that you have on your visa.
That's right. So recently I spoke to someone who was working in detention center as a visa cancellation officer. He said, I need your help because they didn't know how to grant a visa, but they sure know how to cancel a visa. So we were talking to each other, and then I found out that the department has taken really strict steps into hiring more staff and having more detention centers for only those who are not meeting their conditions and having visas cancelled.
Yeah, certainly. So if your visa gets cancelled, you do have review rights as well. That's not a problem as well. But
you have a strict timeline.
Exactly, and don't make it to that stage. We try to nip in the bud and try to fix the problem as we get it, rather than waiting for the longer time. Because some people, if their ages if it takes too long to get things done, then
right.
their age might go up and they might lose points for the general skill migration.
That's
there.
right.
So I should say, once you get the letter like that, act now. Don't wait too long.
So sort of tell everyone what they need to do if they receive an email from the department saying we're thinking of cancelling your visa.
Yeah, so when you receive that letter, it would probably say NOICC, that's notice to consider cancellation. So for that, so you would only get 5 days to report.
That's right, yeah.
So you would only get 5 days to actually answer to that email or to the letter.
It's a very short time.
Yeah, but you can actually get another 5 days of extension, but that's only based on the case officer's discretion.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you've received anything like that, it's usually nowadays it's coming from Visa Assurance at Home Affairs.
Yeah.
If you're getting anything, don't think like it's a scam or anything, or don't wait on it. Go see a migration and you can come see us at Collins Street. We are getting a lot of clients recently. We're getting a lot of success when we write to them in submission and getting it getting that overturned. Yeah, basically. So make sure you don't sit on it, and always make sure you're speaking to someone who is registered.
Yeah. Make sure you check the person, whoever you're seeking immigration advice from, is actually a registered migration agent, and you can actually check on mara.gov.au.
That's right. That's the authority which governs our migration agents.
Yeah.
They make sure that we're doing everything lawfully and not breaching any of the conditions in terms of confidentiality for you as well.
Certainly.
Do you have any last notes for today?
No, pretty much we covered everything, and next week I think next week we should talk more about cancellations as well.
Yes,
so people can have a little bit more idea about whether you are on a student visa or any kind of visa, what are the issues, and on what basis your visa can get cancelled. So
let's do it Friday.
Yeah, let's
around same time as
around same time as
probably around 5 o'clock next Friday. We'll talk about cancellation in detail as we spoke about the refusal. Make sure you check that out as well. For this video, guys, if it's not for you, it could possibly help someone else. Please like, comment, and share. You can post your questions in the comment below. We'll do our best to answer them as soon as possible. If you have a very critical situation, you don't want to post it, just send it on our messenger, your phone number, or just walk in. You can book appointments online as well, or via emailing.
Certainly.
Or just come in.
talk to us.
Talk to us. So that's it for now. This is a little Diwali gift for everyone, to be sure that you're safe, you're not breaching any conditions. Lastly, I would like to put in very, very happy Diwali, everybody. Stay safe. My name is Amritpal Kaur. I'm a migration agent. My number is 180162. That's my Maran number. And my phone number for any bookings of appointments is 0404-632-066. And I'm at Collins Street office.
And I would like to wish everyone a very happy and safe Diwali as well. And my name is Saurabh Samar. My migration number is 1802044. And you can actually reach me on 0404 08 3304. You can even send us a WhatsApp message, you can call us, or you can drop a text message as well. Perhaps you can search our name on Facebook and add us as a friends as well if you feel comfortable.
Sorry. So my Facebook page is Amrit at Aussizz. I'm more than happy to accept your friend request. We can talk there, or you can come us. What's your Facebook page?
So mine is Saurabh at Aussizz, and you can add me there as well.
Alright, perfect guys. Have a very happy weekend.
Yeah, and enjoy your
Diwali.
Diwali.
Don't drink too much. Okay, stay safe.
Happy
Bye.
Diwali. Bye-bye.
Happy Diwali.